Chapter 18, Bartolomeu Dias rounds the Cape of Good Hope. For decades, Portuguese sailors had been working their way down the western coast of Africa. Each expedition pushed a little farther. But one enormous question remained. Did Africa ever end? If sailors could reach the continent's southern tip and sail around it, there might be an ocean route connecting Europe directly with the markets of India and Asia. In 1487, King John II of Portugal sent Bartolomeu Dias to find out. Dias commanded a small expedition of 3 ships. They sailed south along the African coast, following routes explored by earlier Portuguese expeditions. Then the weather turned against them. Powerful winds and storms drove Dias's ships away from the African coast and far out into the Atlantic. For days, the sailors couldn't see land. When the weather finally improved, Dias tried sailing east, expecting to find Africa. There was nothing, so he turned north. Eventually, land appeared. But something extraordinary had happened. Without realizing it, the storm had carried Dias around the southern end of Africa. His ships were now sailing along Africa's southern coast, and into waters connected with the Indian Ocean. For European navigation, this was a breakthrough. Africa could be sailed around. Dias wanted to continue farther east, but his exhausted crew had had enough. They had been away from Portugal for more than a year, supplies were running low, and the sailors demanded that the expedition turn back. On the return voyage, Dias finally saw the great headland he had unknowingly passed during the storm. According to tradition, he called it the Cape of Storms. King John II understood what the discovery meant and gave it a more hopeful name. The Cape of Good Hope. Because beyond that cape lay the possibility of something Portugal had pursued for generations. A sea route to India. Dias returned to Portugal in 1488. He hadn't reached India. He hadn't established the great Portuguese trading route. But he had demonstrated that the geographical obstacle blocking it could be overcome. And 10 years later, another Portuguese expedition would follow the route Dias had helped open. Its commander was Vasco da Gama. Dias had rounded a cape. But in doing so, he helped connect 2 oceans and opened a maritime doorway between Europe and Asia. The age of exploration was accelerating. And the world was becoming connected in ways that would bring extraordinary exchanges of knowledge, goods, people, and extraordinary violence. If you found this informative, there's a tip jar in the description. Thanks for watching.